You've gone from working with Justin a lot to you're working primarily with Amanda now. What is the big secret? Like, you are the team guy. Like, your whole career, you've always had like people that you've worked with that you bring out the best in one another.
Right.
Is it particularly easy to do that with Amanda?
Well, yeah. I mean, she's a little tougher than most people because she's a perfectionist, and with that comes I'm more of an express train, and she's definitely a local stops only. So we definitely move at a different speed, but she also has an uncanny grasp on the dialogue for the characters. So if we're talking about Harley, or if we're talking about Corey, she definitely hears their voices a lot better than I do. So as far as a team, it's kind of perfect because no matter what I put down, she'll come in and she'll say, okay, but you know what? She would stop there and think about, she kind of gets she has that, and I think probably why I like working in teams is I like to be challenged a little bit. And when you write alone, the worst thing you can think is if you're wonderful or you're great, because there's no challenge there. And your editor, a lot of times the editors need to get the thing in, so they push it through. But when you work with a team, the other person, if the team is working, the other person you should butt heads a little bit. And I think it always comes out with better ideas. So I think the headbutting part is why I probably like working with somebody else. I don't think everything I do is wonderful, and they're there to tell me that it's not. So it's kind of nice.
And of course, I mean, even notwithstanding the fact that you're a comics favorite couple, there's the fact that when I first met you, you guys were working on Gatecrasher.
Oh yeah, way back when. I didn't even know. I don't know if we were going out at that point, and we might have not been going out. We were.
I don't think so.
Maybe I was seeing her on the side. I don't remember. Yeah, we were working. Actually, it was one of my other than Ash, one of my first writing gigs, and the exciting part of that was not only working with Amanda on art, but it was actually getting to write with Mark Waid. Because I figured, well, if I'm going to learn from anybody, I'm going to learn from the best, and he definitely. What a generous, talented guy he was. And I really learned a lot from him. So again, collaborating, you learn, you pick on each other, friendships are like that, I like that part of it. I'm too social a person to be that writer that hides out, and gets in his own head. I'm too social for that. So working with a group, comics are a group experience, they're team books. Even a single character book is a team book, and that's the fun of comics, I think.
And like I said, I really am enjoying Starfire. I had this weird journey with Starfire, and actually I called you guys one of our 10 best DCU books, one of the things that people should be reading.
Thank you.
First issue I read it, and I said, this is really well done, but I don't think I'm the target audience.
Right.
And the second issue, I came around to the fact that this book is so well done, I don't give a shit.
Right.
But, I mean, is there a concentrated effort to kind of speak to a broader audience than like guys like me who are 35 and have been reading forever?
I think most writers won't want to admit this. You write things so they entertain you. So Amanda and I write the book so it entertains us. And what happens with that is, sure, you have it in the back of your mind that there's a certain amount of people that like Starfire one way. Then there's people who watch Teen Titans Go that like Starfire another way. And all that stuff is in there. And I watch the cartoons, and then Amanda is actually a big fan of Marv and George's Starfire. So the character, what we found was we created an amalgam of what everybody thinks Corey should be. And I think for us, we were very conscious of the fact that if this is your first time you ever read her, we have to make sure that the door is open and we can see exactly what the character is. So the first issue may not have been like a one to pull you in so much, but at least you didn't leave it not knowing who she was. And then, so then as we write the series, we're getting into the fact that, okay, this is a person that's, from another planet living here, and she's got bizarro powers, some of her powers, and let's take advantage of that. But in the end, we're just trying to write a fun book. If it finds an audience, sometimes some people tell me it's younger audience. Some other people are telling me, no, it's actually some of the stuff in it is pretty subversive and all that stuff. And I said, yeah, I don't know. We just write it and let everybody else dissect it. It's nice when a mom and a daughter come over and say they read it together. But as soon as they leave, I'm like, oh my God, that thing I just did in that book, and I guess I kind of think of it like Looney Tunes. Like when we were a kid, we watched them, and Bugs Bunny was great, and Roadrunner. This convention's killing me. Roadrunner and all that is like, we get it on one sense of humor, and then as we're adults, we get the other jokes. And that's, I think, in Starfire, I like to think of it that way. It hits everybody. I hope.
Now, one of the things I really like about that book is that you are building a supporting cast, which is, and I've said this a lot of times, but I think it's almost kind of a lost art in comics right now because everything goes from event to event to event, and almost no characters get to play with people who aren't superheroes.
Right.
Obviously, with Jonah, you got to play with regular people more often.
Yeah.
Is that something that really appeals to you as a writer? Is the juxtaposition?
Yeah, I'm not an event guy. I don't know if you noticed in my books, there's not huge events. There's a hurricane. There's this. There's that. I figure every other comic superhero book is an event book, and for me, when I grew up, I loved the soap opera part of comics. I love the Peter Parker, Mary Jane, and Gwen, and I really love that kind of aspect of it. And when we were doing Starfire, Amanda and I said, well, who would be the people in Key West? Who would be people around her that not only would be okay with her, who she is, but actually would, if she starts dealing with bad guys, would be key to that. And we thought, well, Stella and Saul, brother and sister, one's Coast Guard, one's a cop, a natural, and then we built off from there, and then we started looking at, who lives in Key West, and there's a lot of Cuban, there's a lot of all mixed different races, there's gay, and Key West is a wonderful melting pot. If you've never been there, it's a great melt. And we said, all right, the cast, this is an alien that's fitting in a place where everybody's a little different, so she's not going to stand out as much as everybody thinks she's going to stand out. Even with the orange skin, it's not going to matter because there's always somebody that used too much tanning liquid fluid that's orange, And I love supporting cast because they give a reaction to a straight man. So with Harley, she has a stuffed beaver and an egg to change bodies and bizarro stuff, and Tony and them. But with Starfire, having normal people there who have jobs that are pretty spectacular at times, kind of grounds her a little bit. And I thought that would be interesting, that you'd want to come back every month to see how that's their interaction. And again, I grew up on a sitcom, so I like the idea of supporting casts. Yeah.